Hey everybody, welcome to the N.A.R.C.N Network. I'm Dean, the host of the N.A.R.C.N Network and channel, and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. So today I'm going to present to you episode 193 on the N.A.R.C.N Network, and episode 193 arose recently because I had one or two questions off of a couple of people on the N.A.R.C.N Network. These are more recent people to the N.A.R.C.N Network, because I have actually broached this topic of episode 193 in the past on the network, but I'm going to talk about it here again in episode 193 because I had a couple of questions posed to me on the network. People write me directly in my inbox and inquire about these particular things with me, and I decided to make this video just in response to a couple of these inquiries and what people were asking me. So the question in episode 193 that I was going to broach here that I had posed to me is, I had a question about, or a few people had a question about how I feel about my narcissists and whatever narcissistic episodes it is that I've dealt with them or towards them, and how this has caused me to feel. So I've talked about this in previous episodes on the N.A.R.C.N Network, where I've established and basically stated that this was a very eye-opening event for me, because I went through more than one narcissistic event with more than one narcissist in my life over the past, let's say, since about 2009, approximately. It involves a couple of different narcissists that I had, basically one after the other, and of course we know how we get narcissists. We've talked about this in previous episodes on the N.A.R.C.N Network. Generally, narcissists go after people who are empathic and who they feel that they can get fuel off of, people who are giving up their time, basically people who are just like give out a lot of positive energy. And I like to think I give out a lot of positive energy in the world. I try not to put out negative energy. It's not really my what I do in life every day, for sure. And people who are around me, who are my friends and other people that know me or have been in relationships with me, I think would more or less agree with this. Although maybe there are people that wouldn't. I'm not sure. But anyway, when we get back to the topic of how I feel particularly about the narcissistic individuals I've dealt with over the past couple of years, well, of course, this was a very eye-opening event. One of the last major events that I had with a narcissist that happened between 2017 and 2020. That was a very eye-opening event, because I knew this person for a very long time before. Almost 20 years before, or almost 20 years in total up till this point. I looked at them as a close friend. This was a person who I thought was very outstanding in their behavior as a person, and I looked up on them in a very positive way. I had a lot of positive feelings, of positive energy towards this person, because I liked this person and cared about this person greatly. I grew to have an adoration for them as a friend, and then later on, through whatever happened there when we became involved, I grew to have a adoration and love for them in a romantic type way. But before that, I cared for them deeply as a friend, and though we at times went times where we didn't speak to each other for periods of time, I always envisioned that person as being a very close friend of mine, because they knew tons of things about me, all kinds of things that were going on in my life, and they in turn spoke to me about things that were going on in their lives. And I looked upon that interaction and that relationship with them in a very, very positive way. But I also at the same time got a really strange wake-up call from this, and this made me very aware of narcissism. And then before that, I dealt with another person from 2011 until 2016 who indeed also had narcissistic personality disorder, whether they realized they did or not. This is, I believe, exactly what they suffer from based on the research and the scientific things that I've looked into about them. They also presented a very strange energy to me over a period of time that I spent with them, which was about 5.5 years. And at that time that I was with them, I didn't know much about narcissism. I didn't really know what to look for. I didn't really realize this is what they were doing with me. So I spent that time with them, and they presented with me with a lot of energy, which was very crazy up and down, and there's not a lot of stability in there. And that's another person that I dealt with at that particular period of time. But there's one or two others here who I've also dealt with during that time, that previous time that we talked about back in 2009. And all this energy came to a pinnacle basically with whatever individuals I dealt with in the past couple of years. And then, of course, I researched narcissism. I became aware of it. I became aware of the science of it. I have a background in psychology from a younger age in my 20s. I currently also study that, and not just stuff to do with narcissism, but stuff to do with personality disorders. All kinds of psychological stuff I still study. I just study stuff on the mind. I watch some of the cutting-edge professionals in psychology on a constant basis. I study them on a constant basis. And all these things allowed me to understand what I went through with these narcissistic individuals, and how to deal with them, and how to deal with those things that they created in me. And all these things made me able to understand what was going on in my life, what perhaps was going on with those individuals. And because of this, I don't really harbor any ill feelings towards these individuals in this way. At times I feel like I need to try to help these people, because I do see the things that go on with them, even if they're not particularly aware of what's going on with them themselves. And at times, you know, I still have to deal with some of these narcissists in my life, even up till this point here. I still have communication with them because of whatever criterion my life requires this at the moment. And I try to speak to them in respectful ways. I try to deal with them in respectful ways, because this is what I think I should do. And I also try to deal with them in a way that I hope they might interpret as me not having any latent issues with them as far as how I feel about whatever went on with them and I don't harbor any anger currently for any of them in this particular way, because I managed to be able to work myself past that through understanding what may be going on with them and their trauma that has formed them into being narcissists, or formed them into having, you know, the personality disorders that they currently suffer from, or whatever it is they currently suffer from. And I would be the first person to reach out to these people to deal with them, and try to deal with them in the most positive way that I can. Now, this being said, when you look at the N.A.R.C.N network, and you look at the things that I have previously posted from the conception of the N.A.R.C.N network, there are some instances on the N.A.R.C.N network where I deal with dialogue about my narcissists and about my experiences with them when I was involved with them. I don't want anybody on the N.A.R.C.N network to be confused that I've presented these things in the manner of anger towards that person. The things that I present have always been of a scientific nature, and if I have ever presented evidence about my narcissists in the past on the network, which I still do currently do on the occasion, this evidence, again, it's of a scientific nature, and it's evidence I'm presenting to actually show other people on the N.A.R.C.N network what they might want to look out for. If I've ever presented dialogue between myself and my narcissist on the N.A.R.C.N network, this is to give you guys out there an example of what to look out for. I'll present something, I'll present a messenger interaction between myself and a narcissist that I've dealt with or whatever. This is to show you guys, this is what I've had to deal with. Maybe you're dealing with something exactly the same of this. As an example, to give you guys an example. It's not to blatantly take that narcissist out there and throw them under the bus and run over them or something of this nature. It's not for that reason. It's to present evidence, real hard evidence, real evidence to people on the N.A.R.C.N network who can see by the example of what I've gone through, what they may be dealing with themselves, and to help them wake up and get out of their narcissist, or see what's going on with them if they're not really sure. So I've always presented evidence in that particular light. Has this at times perhaps upset my narcissists? Yes, it definitely has. I can tell you that it definitely has, because some of them have communicated this unhappiness to me, and I have done what I can at times dealing with any of them to try to remedy this or to try to explain to them this is not to try to throw you under the bus or to make you look like shit or make you look bad or anything. I just need to present real-time evidence to the people out there who are watching my channel so that they can learn about narcissism and learn exactly how to deal with things, how to protect themselves, what to look for in a narcissist if they're dealing with one. This is why I do these things that I do, and this is why I have in the past presented examples on the network of what I have dealt with my narcissist, and why I continue to present examples like this to you guys, so you guys have a real-time, real-life examples of what to look out for when you're dealing with a narcissist, so you can determine whether or not you're dealing with a narcissist in your life. But again, on the topic of how do I feel about my narcissist, I don't harbor any resentment for any of them at this particular moment. This is something I can wholeheartedly say in this particular instance. I would hope that they can find the way through their narcissism here to get themselves in a better way, in a better mindset for what they're dealing with, for how they're able to get along in their lives, whatever it is they need to do here in their lives in order to make themselves feel better, or in order to remedy whatever's going on with them and the people around them. I don't wish for anybody to be stuck in a situation of suffering from narcissism. This isn't a pleasant thing. This isn't a good thing. It's not a positive thing for anybody to have any type of personality disorder. It's not a good thing. These people go through a tough time like this. Again, I don't want to diminish the severity of what a narcissist does to anyone out there. And I don't want to make them look like they're benign and like they do not cause harm, because they do. They cause lots of mental harm to people out there. But they are also doing this because they themselves have been dealt a lot of mental harm in their lives, and this is why they do this. They're propagating this abuse because they themselves have been abused in these ways, and they don't know or are not sure how to get out of this. But there is help out there, and I would say to any narcissist out there watching this, like, seek that help if you can. Like, try not to live in this crazy situation you live in. It's got to be absolute hell. And I can tell you that it probably is absolute hell, because I deal with narcissists who talk to me on my network as well too, and they make these points to me. They made these points to me time and time again if I've been dealing with actual narcissists who have talked to me about their narcissism on the network, and also any narcissists around me that may actually be currently dealing with me openly about their narcissism. So, how do I feel about my narcissists? I don't harbor any resentment for them. I'm not mad at them. I'm not upset with them in any particular way. I wish, again, that these people, if they do not realize that they may have narcissism, or they're not comfortable in coming out and admitting that these things are going on with me, if I've dealt with them in the past, the most strong thing I could say to anybody out there who may be one of my ex-individuals who might have NPD, man, talk to me. Talk to me about what's going on with you. Talk to me openly about this. I want to understand you. I want to understand what's going on with you. I'm not here to destroy you. I'm not here to belittle you. What I do on my N.A.R.C.N network currently is for the benefit of other people out there who are having narcissistic trauma in their lives, and to teach them what to look out for. It has no blight on you personally. There's nothing coming out of me that is a personal attack upon you in any way. Like this. This is just what I now present in my life on my N.A.R.C.N network, so that other narcissistic abuse victims can get past their trauma and get past things that are going on in their lives. And this is, you know, this is truly how I feel about what's going on in my life at the moment. I don't harbor any resentment or any ill feelings or any negative energy towards my narcissist in any way. So this was episode 193 here, just a little discussion on how I feel about my narcissist currently. Here, I'm going to say, please stay tuned. Got lots of content coming up on the N.A.R.C.N channel and on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Please stay tuned for those videos. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll catch you really soon.